Hi, everyone, and welcome to our World Healing Session for today is November 26, 2024. We've got a lot of things going on recently. It was a couple of weeks ago we had the beaver moon, which means that we went to from this transition of fall to starting to prepare for winter. And in the interim, a lot of people were struggling with lungs, with colds, viral load, stress, depression, grief, obviously sadness. There's just a lot of things going on. So I'm going to project this right through into the next full moon. Even though we're going to be doing weekly sessions, we still want to get some of this energy to support us right through. So the first thing is to get our lungs to synthesize emotional content. Now, whether that's going to be with any of the stressors in your life, no matter what's happened in your life, right? Anything from death to whatever losses are going on. And the secondary factor that is not necessarily related to loss, but to sadness. But think about all the things that you could lose. All right. There are a lot of people that don't always connect to it. Like you could lose a job, you could lose an object, you could you could also be going through a transformation in your life that really puts a heck of a lot of stress right through the lungs, but also the ribs, the intercostals, and that beautiful diaphragm. So, one of the things I notice is when I go through a transition that, let's say I wanted, it feels super good. But then a few days later, whatever was being held in the past kind of isn't moving through the diaphragm and the lungs and then the meridians as well. So we're going to work through what's called the gunas. I'm not going to tell you all how I do that. You can take the courses to be able to do that or do your own studying. And you can figure all that out if you need to. With the Body Talk Association, you can do that. There's a plug shout out to Body Talk. So yeah. Now I'm already, as I'm going through this, so lung, we're getting closed up in the house. If it's the southern hemisphere, some places get so hot they end up being in a lot of air conditioning, or it's just that there's an increase in heat in some areas or dust. I'm feeling those two things. Increase in heat weighing heavily on the lungs, increase in dust. That'll be for the southern hemisphere. For us in the northern hemisphere, it's definitely the contraction the body needs. And for some of us, the changes in the maybe the axis of the planet, whether it's climate change. I don't know how to put that into terms because I want to be a little bit more specific for our lungs. So our lungs tune into everything going on the planet, not just pollution, et cetera. It tunes into everything going on. We're doing work holistically, not just focusing on one wee little thing. That's going to that there it is. As soon as I go, if I focus on one wee little thing, my lungs get contracted. As soon as I go, no, I'm holistic, I'm focusing on the entire planet. That helps the tensegrity of whatever's going on in the lungs, including the wars going on in the world, including everyone's opinion, everyone that is disagreeing, whatever goes on that causes the lungs, even in your family, whatever you disagree with. So we're going to start with a little bit of nitric oxide breathing to help the lungs. So those of you who are really struggling with your lungs, you might want to try this a bit. Be really gentle with yourself. So really what we do is inhale and hold it for a count of 4, and then inhale again, hold for 4. So when I'm struggling with my lungs, I find this really difficult. So I'll do it even less until I build up. So here we go. Inhale. So breathology is where I learned how to do that. So shout out to breathology.com. You can go there to explore more breath holding. So let's do it again. Inhale. Inhale. And exhale gently. Be really gentle, do it less. I'm noticing someone coughing. So, as the nitric oxide builds up, especially for asthmatics, it really helps. And now we're just going to relax. And I'll just hold the energy of allowing the lungs to expand, hydration to come in. We want the proper water to come in. And then we want our nervous system to balance out any type of virus, or for those who suffer from respiratory conditions. Okay. So just breathe as gently as you can. Do whatever it is you need to do. If you need to take a drop of water, even just put it on your tongue. That might be helpful. I'll even do that right now. I'm just feeling the water going into the mouth, hydrating the throat, hydrating the entire body, allowing the cells. Okay, so it's really the cell membrane to really, yeah, I can even feel like a scratchiness on the cell membrane. So it's not for everyone, of course, but for some of us who are struggling, and it doesn't have to be. When I'm doing this kind of link, I'm seeing it in the lungs right now, but I'm also saying to the brain, well, if you see any other area where the membrane is not allowing water to go through, please bring it through. And then we could just tap the head, the heart, the belly. And then you could also tap any area you feel that's struggling. Let's say your intestine is struggling, tap your intestine. Let's say your lungs are struggling, tap your lungs, right? This comes from the yogis used to tap things. If you feel your brain's not working, your memory's not working, tap that brain. You feel your neck is stiff, tap the neck. Feel like your joints are not hydrated enough, tap the joints, even in your neck, even in your shoulders, your hips. Tap your back, tap. And then breathe. You probably notice immediately when you tap, even if it's just a little, you can even do it this gently. It does not, the tapping is energetic. You could do it above the body as well, because it's energy. And you go above the area. If you're experiencing pain somewhere and you can't touch it, just go above the area. So I'm going to go, I just went above the shoulder. I do have a problem in the shoulder. In the other shoulder, I have a problem in the lungs. So I'm just going to tap over and just with you see what goes on. And right away, you can feel energetically it opens up. You must have noticed a change in my voice right there. So as I go here, tap around, right, you feel the change in voice. Now, remember, water is also linked to your kidneys and your bladder. That is in Chinese medicine. So I'm just going to focus on the kidney bladder just to help expel things. But we also want to get those electrolytes so the body is properly hydrated and will allow the traveling of emotions. So emotions don't literally move with our fluids, but you can imagine if an emotion is congested somewhere, our fluids are not going to move as well. If our fluids aren't moving as well, the emotions aren't going to move as well. So let's get that moving. And you could already hear my voice just changed as I started going into this, the rajasic level of the movement of emotions, which is movement. Rajasic is movement. It's just movement. So we're just going to get that moving. I can just feel like a bunch of stuff not moving along the lungs. We're going to go deep into the lungs and expectorate grief, sadness, and we'll use some of the emotion, anger, to push stuff out of the cell and get it to expectorate from the throat. I can just feel it. Even as I say expectorate, it starts to really come up into the throat. And that's also going to be like whether you've caught a cold or whatever, or flu, there's still also those of us who are very sensitive to being inside, being in dust. For us here in Montreal, the weather has been, weirdly very nice. It hasn't even rained. Usually October is rain and November begins snow, and we have had not one drop of snow yet, which is very bizarre. So everything is quite dusty. And today it's finally rained. It's supposed to snow, and that's going to cover everything up. But if it melts again, it'll also bring up mold. So just think about those things, how much they're impacting you, especially in the collective. Then there's family. So we're going to look at family. So I'm going to look specifically at aging family members. Aging family members. Aging family members cause a lot of grief, and there's fear, right? So we could be fearful of losing parents, right? So those of you who are the aging person, this is great for your kids to have this experience. Yep, I'm already tearing up. All right. So aging parents, and there are conflicts and difficulty with those aging parents. Of course there are. I mean, that's where we begin our lives and where we begin our journey into the adventure with the dragon, and the parents are the ones who help us see all of that. If they've done a really good job, you'll be able to work through the dragon with them. Haven't done such a great job, they will be the dragon. So, but that despite that, they will be those people that we love. Most of the time, it's generally we love them anyway. The indifference might indicate there's no love. But if you say, I hate my parents, well, there's still a lot of love there, when you're mad at them. So it's just a counter reaction, because the love is there and we feel bad, or if we feel guilty, right? That's part of the love. So there's a lot that we lose as parents or aunts and uncles or whoever's in our lives that are our primary caregivers, that we now are their caregivers, but they're still our parents. So now we caregive for these older people, but they are still our parents. That is such a huge paradox that is so difficult to reconcile, right? So I've got to care for my parent, but the parent is always fighting to maintain their autonomy. So I always find it easier to give them autonomy. I was sitting with my mom yesterday, 86 years old, a few days ago, and she said, my doctor told me, don't ever leave your house. When you leave your house and you go to one of these homes or something, that's the end of the road for you. Stay in your house, keep your house. And I said to mom, yeah, that's the best thing. We're not going to put you anywhere. Worst comes to worst, you come and live with us. And that way, you can continue, you can be busy, you can have a good time. But till then, you're staying in your house. So you remain active, you clean up, and I'll make you clean up my house when you get here if you need help. So we were laughing about it. I mean, we know the aging is aging, but it's very difficult to let go. And I would not want to let go either. So the children, there's the grieving through the children, grieving in the parents, and all of that really does a number on the lungs. It does a number on the colon. And then there are people who are detached from their families. They could be separated by distance or countries or wars or whatever. We want to work with that as well. So just breathe. Now you can think about your stressor. It might not be any of the ones that I've listed, but think about your personal stressor and just breathe. And we'll tap again and really get a good tapping over the lungs, really. Even for women, behind your breasts are also lungs. So go all over. If you can go to the back, I can't, but you could go there. And just breathe. And then we're going to allow it to move down. We want to move all that emotion out of the body. Okay, I'm just tuning into a viral load this time of year, especially for North Americans. You know, we're inside, less sunlight, less fresh air. We're apt to catch a lot more things. So we can't kind of, you know, say we're never going to go anywhere. That's not fun. We need to be able to go out, nice, strong immune systems. Okay, nice, strong. I'm just saying the words now, nice, strong immune systems, and I got such a weakness. There's something linking. We're going to link the heart and heart energy to the immune system. So I think what I was saying before, that stuff that came up with family and grief, I think that's really important because the heart, does feel the stressors, or more specifically family, and gets a little sad. And that makes us vulnerable, Remember, this is holistic work. I know I repeat that often, but it's important. So what makes us vulnerable in our lives, or we feel vulnerable, or we feel sad, then we're also going to be vulnerable to what's around us. So I highly recommend, or this is what the session's telling me, this is a good time of the year to slow down. Slow down. As January comes in, the light is going to increase. Those are still difficult months because there's less light, but the light begins to increase. So as much as we've shifted to slow down, keep slowing down. So if you get really, really slow, then as the light increases, you will increase speed. But if you're going fast, catch a cold, and then you got to go faster, that's not so good. Right, Bird? Yes, Bird's already, here he is on my cup telling us, I don't know what he's telling us, but obviously telling us something. Yes, honey. Okay. He's like, I need attention now. There we go. Here, you can see yourself. All right. No. All right, guys. Have a great day. And let me know how you're feeling. If you notice a difference in that, it'd be really, really interesting because I'm definitely feeling a movement of the phlegm from the dryness that I'm experiencing in my area, my life. All right. Have a great day. Great week. See you next week. Bye.